My beloved child, pause for a moment, because you have just passed through a harsh journey that very few people could complete while still preserving integrity, kindness, and faith in tomorrow. I, Michael, do not say this to flatter you, nor do I want you to treat the hardships behind you as a title that places you above others. I am helping you see clearly what has been formed within you throughout this season. Perhaps you still feel that you are merely trying to survive one day at a time, still noticing what remains unfinished and the questions that have not yet been answered. But from where I stand, I see a profound transformation. You entered circumstances that once made you believe you could not endure. Yet you came through them. You did not emerge without wounds, but you came out carrying wisdom, discernment, and a quiet strength you did not possess before. The first test came in the form of rejection. Doors upon which you placed great hope suddenly closed. The responses you waited for never arrived, and the people you believed would recognize your worth turned away. During those days, you heard doubt whisper that perhaps you were not talented enough, not remarkable enough, and not worthy of what you were pursuing. Yet a persistent seed within you refused to agree with that conclusion. You felt pain, disappointment, and at times you wanted to surrender. But eventually you rose again. You began to understand that a closed door is not a sentence against your worth. Some places rejected you because they were not spacious enough to hold what you were becoming. And some answers of no were actually protecting you from a road that would have caused you to lose yourself. Then the second test appeared through material pressure. Numbers became heavy. One responsibility followed another, and the future seemed covered by thick fog. You lay awake, calculating again and again, hoping to discover a way forward that no one else could show you. Anxiety tried to push you into panic, but you continued doing what was within your power. You learned to value every small resource, distinguish needs from desires, and stop treating temporary lack as a permanent destiny. You did not possess every answer, but you did not run from responsibility. During that season, you were taught that lasting abundance is not measured only by what you possess, but also by the wisdom with which you manage what is already in your hands. The third test reached more deeply because it came through someone you once trusted. Betrayal did not hurt merely because of what they did. It also caused you to doubt your own ability to judge character. You wondered whether kindness was a mistake, whether sincerity made you too vulnerable, and whether you should close the door forever so no one could enter again. Yet you did not allow one dishonest person to turn you cold. You learned to heal while maintaining boundaries, and to forgive without returning authority to what had once broken you. You preserved your ability to love, but that love is now accompanied by awareness. This is a greater victory than any apology you once waited to receive. After this came the test of silence. You called out, prayed, and waited, yet no answer seemed to come. Those days made you believe that I had gone far away and that your words had dissolved into emptiness. Yet, even in weariness, you continued turning your heart toward the light. You were not always strong. Sometimes your prayer was only a sigh, a tear, or a question filled with confusion. But you never completely turned away. That quiet faithfulness deepened your trust. You no longer believed only when you felt supported. You learned to keep walking even when your emotions offered no evidence. Silence did not destroy you. It made your faith less dependent upon outward signs. The fifth test was the season of delay, and I know this nearly exhausted you. You worked, prepared, and tried, yet the things that should have moved seemed to remain still. You watched others advance while you appeared to stay in the same place. At times, you wondered whether you had missed the opportunity or chosen the wrong direction. What you could not see was that during the waiting, your foundation was being strengthened. If what you prayed for had arrived earlier, you might have received it with a heart still too easily shaken, a mind not yet disciplined enough, and hands that had not learned how to preserve what was given. Delay is not always rejection. Some gifts must wait until you become mature enough not to use them to prove your value. Retaliate against the past, or chase the admiration of others. Then you faced the sixth test. When your character was examined in places where no one was watching, you had opportunities to take shortcuts, speak only half the truth, compromise with what you knew was wrong, or choose the easier path because others were doing the same. No one might have discovered immediately if you had lowered your standards, but you would have known. And I would have known. You chose integrity even when that choice slowed you down, cost you something, or caused others to call you too rigid. Those quiet decisions created weight in your words and steadiness in your steps. Honor is not formed beneath the gaze of a crowd. It is built in moments when you could do wrong without being discovered, yet still choose what is right. The seventh test led you into profound loneliness. You may have stood among many people, continued speaking and smiling, yet no one truly understood the battle within you. You did not know how to explain it, because what you were experiencing was beyond the experience of those around you. Some told you that you were thinking too much. Others advised you to return to an easier road. Some left when they could no longer understand the new version of you. In the loneliness, you had to decide whether you would betray what you had come to know, merely to belong, or accept standing alone in truth. You chose to remain steady. That choice taught you that companionship is precious, but your identity cannot be built upon being accepted by everyone. The eighth test came when you had to release something you once defended with all your heart. It may have been a relationship, a plan, an image of the future, or an old version of yourself. You tried to save it for a long time because you believed letting go meant failure. Eventually, you realized that some things cannot be healed through the effort of only one person. Some doors must close, so you no longer spend your strength upon what can no longer produce good fruit. You learn to leave without destroying, to end without cursing, and to lay something down without denying that it once carried meaning. Letting go did not make you smaller. It returned the energy that had been trapped within what no longer belonged to your future. Finally, the ninth test was your confrontation with yourself. After everything that happened, there was no one left to blame and no noise left to hide the things that needed to change. You had to look at the habit of doubting yourself, the need for approval, the fear of abandonment, and the ways you sometimes destroyed good things before they had time to grow. This was the most difficult test because the person you had to overcome was not outside you. Yet, you began to become honest. You learned to apologize when you were wrong, rest when you were tired, ask for help when needed, and stop using strength as a wall that hid pain. You no longer try to become perfect. You choose to become truthful, responsible, and willing to grow. Now I want you to understand that these 9 tests did not appear to punish you. They also do not prove that you must continue suffering in order to be considered strong. That season of learning has already given what it needed to give. And you do not have to return to the battlefield merely because it has become familiar. What comes next will require another kind of strength, the ability to receive, rest, trust, and wisely use what is given. You have learned how to survive. Now you must learn how to live in peace. You learned how to endure rejection. Now you must learn to receive recognition without suspicion. You became accustomed to carrying everything alone. Now you need to learn how to allow sincere people to walk beside you. My beloved child, I acknowledge your perseverance, but I do not want you to make suffering your identity. What sets you apart is not the number of times you were tested, but the way you preserved kindness, integrity, and hope through it all. Enter the next part of the journey without always expecting the next blow. Allow your shoulders to relax. Let your heart open, little by little, and allow good things to approach without pushing them away through fear. You passed through fire, but you were not created to live forever in fire. I am leading you into a wider place, where your maturity will no longer be used only for endurance, but for building, loving, guiding, and creating meaningful things. Move forward with humility, because an old season has been completed, and you are ready to live with all the clarity that journey placed within you. My beloved child, just before something good begins to open, someone from your past may try to re-enter your life wearing an appearance of concern and speaking gentle words. They may bring up old memories, claim that they have changed, or say they finally understand you. But I do not want you to open the door quickly simply because your heart once cared for them. Look at what they have actually changed, not only what they promise. Some people return because they have matured and learned responsibility, but others come back merely because they sense that you are no longer dependent upon them. The peace, confidence, and clarity growing within you may cause those who once benefited from your vulnerability to seek access again. Therefore, guard the gate of your life with wisdom. Guarding the gate does not mean becoming cold. It means understanding that mercy does not require you to return a key that was once abused. You spent a long time rebuilding the parts of yourself that had been wounded. I watched you learn not to chase someone simply because they became silent, not to accept blame immediately for things that were not yours, and not to make yourself smaller in order to preserve a relationship. Those steps are precious. Do not allow an unexpected call, a vague apology, or a lonely moment to drag you back to a place from which it took great effort to leave. Someone who truly values you will not pressure you into an immediate decision. They will respect your boundaries. Remain patient with your caution, and accept that trust must be rebuilt through consistent action. Someone who merely wants control often makes you feel guilty, tells you that you have changed, or causes you to fear that you are missing a final opportunity. Do not allow false urgency to steal your clarity. What is happening within you is not limited to one relationship. You are breaking patterns that have repeated through generations, enduring harm in order to be loved, remaining silent to preserve outward peace, sacrificing until you are empty and calling it duty, or believing that scarcity is an unavoidable destiny. Perhaps those before you did the best they could with the understanding and circumstances they possessed. I do not want you to judge them, but you are permitted to choose another way of living. You are allowed to manage money more wisely, build healthier relationships, and teach the next generation that love does not mean accepting harm. Your change is not betrayal of your family. It is the healing of a stream that has carried fear and limitation for too long. The new prosperity into which I desire to lead you is not merely having more possessions. It is the ability to live without allowing scarcity to control every decision. It is no longer clinging to someone because you fear you cannot stand alone. No longer remaining in work that destroys you because you believe there are no other choices, and no longer spending the future to soothe temporary pain. Prosperity is order, contentment, the ability to give without emptying yourself, and the wisdom to preserve what is entrusted to you. You may be the first in your family to enter this way of living, but it will require more than hope. It requires discipline, learning, honesty, and the courage to release familiar habits that no longer serve the future. I know that recently you have sensed an unusual quietness around your life. Perhaps you are sleeping more deeply, no longer wanting to participate in old arguments, or unexpectedly feeling lighter when you think about the future. Do not rush to turn every feeling, dream, or sound within your home into a prophecy. True guidance does not make you afraid or force you to keep decoding mysteries. Receive peace as a reminder that you are learning how to dwell in the present. Care for your bedroom. Keep your space clean. Reduce anxiety-producing content before resting, and allow your body to recover. When you have lived in tension for a long time, calmness can feel unfamiliar. But you do not need to create another storm simply because you became accustomed to thunder. There may have been challenges you feared would arise this week, yet events may unfold more gently than you expected. This is not necessarily evidence that an invisible battle was redirected. Sometimes it simply shows that you have matured enough not to turn a problem into a crisis. In the past, one sentence could disturb you for the entire day. Now you know how to pause and choose a response. Previously, one delay could make you think everything was collapsing. Now you can wait, gather information, and complete each necessary step. Your new peace does not mean life is without difficulty. It means difficulty can no longer easily steal your authority over yourself. Someone may remember you, dream about you, or suddenly feel the desire to contact you. But do not use this to exalt yourself as someone chosen above others. If your image appears in another person's mind, what matters is not decoding it as a mysterious mark, but the way you show up when the real encounter occurs. Let them see radiance through your kindness, steadiness, and the way you no longer react from wounds. True power is not found in another person dreaming of you surrounded by light. It lies in your ability to bring light into ordinary conversations. Act with integrity when no one is watching, and refrain from using your growth to humiliate those who are still struggling. You do not need to type a number or leave a comment in order to receive protection. If you want to say Amen, let it become agreement expressed through the way you live. Say Amen by refusing to return to old cycles. Confirm change by keeping promises to yourself, fulfilling responsibilities, and caring for your health. No genuine blessing depends upon your typing 555 on a screen. What is good will not be taken from you because you did not perform an online ritual. I want your faith to rest upon a foundation stronger than temporary emotion and messages pressuring you to fear missing your future. Regarding what you once called an inheritance, listen to me calmly. Perhaps you feel that your family treated you unfairly, that a right was hidden, or that your name was excluded from something you should have known about. But do not claim that documents were forged or that someone tried to erase your name without evidence. Truth does not need to be defended through speculation. If there truly is an inheritance issue, locate the documents, review the records, speak with the responsible parties, and seek appropriate legal advice. Do not confront others with accusations when you possess only a feeling. Divine wisdom is not separated from verifiable truth. It helps you patiently collect information and proceed through a just path. The tears you shed over the years were not meaningless, but neither were they a transaction obligating life to repay you with a material reward. Your tears softened what had grown hard, helped you recognize your limits, and made you more compassionate toward the pain of others. They became part of your growth, but you do not need to treat them as proof that you will certainly receive a particular asset or sum of money. The deepest reward is that you are no longer the same person who wept in despair 4 years ago. You learned how to rise, seek help, establish boundaries, and refuse to allow one loss to determine the entire value of your life. Some things you lost will not return in their original form. A relationship may not be restored. An old opportunity may have passed. Something precious may never be recovered. But this does not mean life cannot give you something better. Better does not always mean twice as much in quantity. Sometimes it means deeper quality. You may not regain the person who left, but you may meet someone who knows how to remain sincerely. You may not return to your former position, but you may find work that respects your ability and health. You may not recover the years that passed, but you can live the coming years with a freedom the past never allowed. The new version of your life will not be protected through grand declarations, but through consistent choices. It will be preserved when you do not announce every plan too early, when you carefully examine financial offers, when you do not give private information to those who have not earned trust, and when you seek counsel before major decisions. It is also protected when you stop sharing every wound with people who are merely curious and have no intention of supporting you. Discretion is not fear. It is understanding that a seed needs time beneath the soil before it becomes strong enough to rise into the light. Therefore, my beloved child, guard the gate without locking your heart. Observe the person who wants to return, but do not condemn them before their actions become clear. Believe that you can open a new road for your family, but do not make yourself responsible for saving everyone. Receive peace without chasing every sign. Protect your lawful rights, but act only upon evidence. When good things come, receive them with gratitude rather than the feeling that life is repaying a debt. I am teaching you to enter the new season with open eyes, a tender heart, and steady feet. What belongs to you will not require you to betray wisdom in order to receive it. What is healthy can endure time, verification, and honest questions. You do not need to rush, nor do you need to return to the past to prove that you have won. Keep building, keep healing, and keep choosing what brings life. When you do this, what multiplies will not only be what you possess, but also your freedom, courage, and ability to pass on to the next generation a more peaceful inheritance than the one you received. My beloved child, the restlessness growing within you is not condemnation, but a sign that your inner life is calling you back to peace and genuine purpose. I do not need you to press a button, leave a sign, or act hastily in order to prove that you believe. Deep agreement is not found in a like, command, or pressured response. It is revealed through the way you live after hearing this reminder. Will you dare to stop? Look directly at your exhaustion and become honest about what is causing you to drift away. I do not hide your blessing behind an action performed on a screen, nor do I measure sincerity by the speed of your response. What I seek is a heart willing to return, a mind willing to become quiet, and feet willing to leave roads that are draining you. I know the recent nights have not given you complete rest. Perhaps you wake in the darkness, stare at the ceiling, and do not understand why your body is lying down while your mind continues running. Small thoughts from the daytime become larger when night arrives. An ordinary sentence repeats itself over and over. A glance, a message, or a brief conversation becomes enough for you to analyze for hours. You ask whether you said something wrong, missed a sign, or are being judged by someone. The silence that once helped you recover has become a space in which every worry sounds louder. I see this exhaustion, and I do not blame you for not yet knowing how to escape it. You endured for so long that sometimes even you have forgotten what genuine peace once felt like. During the day, you continue accomplishing what needs to be done. You answer messages, fulfill responsibilities, keep your schedule, and try to appear as though everything is fine. But behind that busyness lies an emptiness that is difficult to describe. You do many things but do not feel that you are moving closer to anything meaningful. Your list of tasks grows longer while joy becomes smaller. You move from one obligation to another, yet deep within there remains a question. Where am I going? And why must I hurry so much? You are beginning to understand that a full day is not necessarily a fully lived day. Some schedules keep you constantly active while moving you farther away from yourself. Some outward successes quietly drain the life within if maintaining them requires the sacrifice of peace. Your uneasiness is not necessarily evidence that disaster is approaching, nor is it a sign that you are being punished. Sometimes it is a natural response to living too long under pressure, sleeping too little, or trying to meet too many expectations. At times, your mind is simply telling you that it needs rest and that old boundaries are no longer sufficient to protect you. I want you to receive these signs gently, rather than turning them into reasons for fear. Listen. But do not rush to conclude that every feeling carries a mysterious message. Wisdom helps you examine both the deeper meaning and practical needs: sleep, health, balance, relationships, and the amount of responsibility you are carrying. You once possessed a quiet confidence, an ability to make decisions without asking too many people for approval. But recently, perhaps you have changed your mind repeatedly, overthought small matters, and searched for confirmation about things you previously understood clearly. This does not mean you have lost your worth or your ability. It may simply reveal that you are too tired to hear the wise voice within. When your mind is crowded with outside voices, you begin to doubt even simple things. You look at others to decide what you should feel, what you should choose, and who you should become. I am calling you to reclaim that authority, not through stubbornness, but by creating enough quietness to recognize what truly fits your life. Some distances cannot be measured by footsteps. You can remain in the same place, perform the same work, and meet the same familiar people while feeling inwardly far from what once gave life meaning. This loss of direction rarely occurs in a single day. It happens through all the times you say yes when your heart wants to say no. Through responsibilities you accept only because you do not want to disappoint anyone. And through dreams you lay down because you believe they are unrealistic. Gradually, you begin living in reaction to everyone else's needs and forget to ask what you are called to build. Therefore, the discomfort you feel is not a sentence against you. It may be a bell reminding you that the time has come to rearrange what matters most. I do not want you to tear everything down in a moment of emotion. Returning to purpose does not necessarily mean quitting your job, leaving every relationship, or making a dramatic decision immediately. Often, the return begins through very small things: going to bed an hour earlier, turning off the screen when your mind is overwhelmed, spending a few quiet minutes before the day begins, or refusing a responsibility that does not truly belong to you. It may mean returning to an ability you neglected, writing down what makes you feel alive, or speaking honestly with someone who can listen without judgment. Purpose does not always appear as a thunderous calling. Sometimes it is recognized through the things that make your heart clearer, more peaceful, and more useful. You also need to stop using busyness to escape questions you do not yet want to face. Some people fill every empty space because they fear that silence will reveal sadness, disappointment, or the truth that they no longer love what they are doing. I do not blame you if you have done this too. Busyness helped you continue through difficult seasons, but what helped you survive cannot always carry you into the next stage of maturity. It is time to stop asking only, "How much more can I endure?" and begin asking, "What is nourishing me? And what is quietly emptying me?" That honesty may feel uncomfortable at first, but it will open a cleaner path. I want you to understand that rest is not a reward reserved only for those who have completed every task. If you wait until no responsibility remains before allowing yourself to rest, you will live in exhaustion forever. Rest is part of preparation. It restores your ability to think clearly and distinguish what is truly necessary. When you sleep enough, breathe slowly, and reduce noise, decisions that once felt overwhelming may become clearer. What you called a crisis may sometimes be the result of many days of exhaustion and insufficient sleep. Treat your daily life with respect, because what is sacred is not present only in dramatic moments. It is also found in a nourishing meal, an orderly room, and an evening in which you allow yourself to rest without guilt. Therefore, my beloved child, do not force yourself to keep running simply because the world around you refuses to slow down. Pause at the right time, rearrange your rhythm, and listen to what your weariness is trying to tell you. You are not failing because you need rest. You have not lost your path because you need to reconsider your direction. Perhaps this season does not require you to do more, but to do less while living more deeply. Release what creates only noise. Preserve what nourishes peace. And begin again with one real and manageable step.